Our wide receiver core and our tight end core are, well, not so much to write home about. But to today's show, we're going to give you the spotlight on the wide receivers and the spotlight on the tight ends, including which of them are going to make the team, how many of them are going to make the team, and we might have some tiers ready for you too. Welcome back to the 305 Gridiron. I'm Anthony Pinzone, your host for this evening, and alongside me, I got my boy, Josh, a.k.a. Aqua Ace. And on today's show, we are giving a spotlight to the wide receiver room and to the tight end room. Now, this wide receiver room, Josh, is a far cry from what we've been used to the past few years when we were enjoying the fruits of a Tyreek Hill and a Jaylen Waddle and a few others mixed in. Receiving corps is now led by Jalen Tolbert and Tutu Atwell and Malik Washington. Kind of the B team.
Polite.
Before we get into that, though, let's break down our tiered rankings. So, on the last episode, we introduced this kind of new tiers that we'd like to play around with, and they go like this. The engine is the core player the offense depends on. The spark plug is the explosive or useful weapon who can change games. The wild card is a player who has upside, but his role is not yet clear. The prove it crew is somebody with talent, but they kind of have to earn some trust. They have to earn some snaps. They have some impressing to do. And then the bubble watch guys are just guys who are there, and really their chances of making the team are slim unless they can stack some wins throughout the training camp process and the preseason and the offseason altogether. Josh, we're going to start off with wide receivers tonight. We've already covered quarterbacks and running backs in a previous episode. If you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check it out. It's on our channel. Everything's nicely organized over there on our homepage. Also, the 305gridiron.com has our latest 10 videos on the homepage, so you can easily find it there, as well as list of transactions, who we took in the draft, along with analysis, and a bunch more stuff coming soon. Let's get into the wide receivers. First on the list is, of course, Jalen Tolbert. He comes over from the Dallas Cowboys. He spent 4 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. He played in 55 games, in which he caught 91 total passes for 1,093 yards and 10 total touchdowns. By far his best season, Josh, was 2024, where he pulled in 49 of 79 targets for 610 yards and 7 touchdowns. This is potentially our wide receiver one now. How do you put into words your thoughts and feelings on the fact that this third round pick from the Dallas Cowboys is potentially our wide receiver one?
All right. So not great. No. Okay. Let's break this down realistically. All right. So new city, new team, new hope. Right. And I'm not trying to just spew copium on here because our wide receiver room is ass garbage. Jalen Tolbert has the size to be an outside receiver. He has the ability to be an outside receiver. That is probably what he is going to do in Miami, is be our outside wide receiver. That's where it ends. Because I really don't know what to expect from Tolbert. He's had a couple good games in Dallas every season that he's been in Dallas. Mm-hmm. Nothing, holy shit, whoa, wow, right? But some steady games. I don't have his game-by-game breakdown. I'm not that big of a Dallas fan.
Let's take a look at it for you now and see if anything pops out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure he had over 100 yards in a game. Maybe he has once or twice, but I think that you can see the thought process.
He has not had a 100-yard game yet.
If I'm remembering correctly, the most he's ever had is around 80, 85, if I'm not mistaken.
4 for 98 against Washington in the final game of the 2024 regular season.
Yeah. So not great, right? But again, he has the tools.
That
So
was like 20% of his yearly intake that season, by the way.
yeah. So, I think this wide receiver room is a lot of guys that are going to contribute in various ways. I'm not sure that this wide receiver room is the typical wide receiver room where you have a clear number one, a clear number two, and a clear number three. This isn't a wide receiver room, to your point, that has a Tyreek Hill, a Jaylen Waddle, and an insert slot wide receiver, right? This is a wide receiver room that's like, hey, here are the weapons. You have been chosen. May the best district win, right? So it's one of those things where if the rookies step up, we could have, Chris Bell comes back from injury. Caleb Douglas shines in the preseason. We could be starting 2 rookie wide receivers at some point, right? And I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I have Tolbert as a wild card, which I know isn't great.
Yeah, wildcard's an upside player with an unclear role. I think you will find that we have quite a few of these wide receivers in this tier. Although Josh and I do have each of our own tiers, it's always fun to do it that way.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough, we agree on most of it for the wide receiver room, because neither of us are super impressed by who we have, on the roster at the receiver position. What worries me the most, Josh, about this, and I probably have mentioned this a couple times already, so excuse me to the audience if you've heard this already, is my fear in that where these two come from in Green Bay, they've struggled mightily as of late to find wide receivers, right? Consistently good wide receivers. They have a lot of guys who flash. They have a lot of guys who have, had 1 or 2 good games but can't stay on the field, but they've had trouble finding that consistent number 1 wide receiver who the quarterback can depend on, right? It was a large reason why Aaron Rodgers wanted out so badly, aside from the fact that they drafted Jordan Love. But it was getting sick and tired of dealing with all these young receivers who didn't really play well for him or didn't jive well. He didn't think had the talent, whatever the reasoning was. I remember how much he wouldn't talk shit about Marquez Valdez-Scantling, ironically enough, because we're about to talk about him a little bit later on. Jalen Tolbert, to me, we were just talking off air before we hopped on. I always felt like he was better than his statistics say he is.
Same.
I felt like when he was thrown into the game, he always performed well. And remembering he was behind both CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup when Michael Gallup was playing, and he was always kind of the third string guy there. And then last year he was behind George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. It's not exactly easy to get ahead of those two guys on the depth chart. So I do think there's untapped potential in the first 3 we're about to talk about, the likely 3 to start the season as the wide receivers. But let me tell you, if you're a rookie wide receiver drafted to this team, you have so much opportunity to break the starting lineup very quickly.
Yeah, and I agree with that, with the rookie comment, but I just quickly looked it up. So I typed in best wide receivers Green Bay has drafted while Sullivan was there, which was from 2003 to 2025. Devontae Adams in 2020 and 2014 was a second round pick. Jordy Nelson was a second round pick.
Yep.
Greg Jennings was a second round pick. Randall Cobb was a second round pick, and Jaden Reed was a second round pick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and most of those guys are from 20 years ago, right? I mean, 15 to 20 years ago. But if you're looking at
Jaden Reed was 2023. Randall Cobb was 2011.
Yeah.
Greg Jennings was 2006. Jordy Nelson, 2008. And Devontae Adams, 2014.
Jaden Reed's probably the best they've drafted recently, and he even can't stay on the field too. So it's, but
I was just curious.
No, I agree. But the guys I'm thinking of, if you want names, I mean, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, right? And then they had Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dobbs just went over.
Yeah, Romeo Dobbs
went to the Patriots, right? They had Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah. Who is their number 1 now in Green Bay?
Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed, yeah.
They kept Reed, Watson, and Wicks, so that's who they're running with right now.
Yeah.
They let Dobbs go. They let MVS go a few years ago. So
we got his clone, but we'll talk about him momentarily.
I agree with Jalen Tolbert, a wild card. I also agree that the next guy on the list is a wild card. Spoiler alert, Tutu Atwell. I've always been a fan of his playing over there in LA. I thought that when, Cooper Kupp went down that 1 year, Tutu filled in admirably, but then of course they get Puka the next year. So
Crazy.
it was like, Cooper Kupp, who of course wins the Super Bowl that year after the Rams cut him. That's funny. Tutu Atwell is a speed stretch guy. He's pretty much what we had in. He's a light version of Waddle and Tyreek. He can stretch the field. He can be explosive. He's just wildly inconsistent, and I don't know if it's because of lack of opportunity or lack of talent. So that's why he falls into the wild card range for me, because it's unclear what his role is going to be. It's unclear really what his talent level is at this point.
Yeah, wild card for me as well. And as you've alluded to already, there's quite a few of those. He's really, in my opinion, he has a chance to make impacts in games. I just don't know if it's going to be consistent because he is the tried and true, put you on the outside. I want you to run really fast in a straight line. I want you to run really fast in a straight line for this amount of steps, and I want you to break on the inside. I want you to run really fast on this side, stop on a dime, turn your face back to the quarterback. Like, that's really all Tutu is, right? And I'm not saying that he cannot be successful in this offense under Slowick with a quarterback and a running back the way that they are.
Yeah.
I just don't know, right? We just don't know. And his size scares me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's been in the NFL long enough to know that the size shouldn't prevent him from being, an injury risk or a danger to blow his liver out of his back if he gets popped by a safety, because he can take a hit in the NFL. We've seen it. We've seen it multiple times on the Rams. I don't know what he's going to contribute to this team. That's all. And with the rookies that we'll talk about momentarily here coming in, and Malik Washington coming back, who has experience in the system because Slowick was here last year. Don't forget, used Malik Washington extremely well last year. I just am curious to see how Tutu, he probably starts off as one of the primary focus because he's a veteran, because we don't really have any fucking options in the room. But I would be really curious to see if he can hold off the rookies.
Yeah, I wanted to go ahead and look back at the 2023 Houston Texans, where Bobby Slowick was the offensive coordinator for them, and look at how their wide receiver core was kind of built there. And it was Nico Collins and Tank Dell. You could put Tolbert in the Collins role and Atwell, or Washington in the Dell role. And then, just a bunch of everybody else kind of filled in the gaps there. Dalton Schultz actually was their third leading receiver at tight end.
Yeah.
Which tells me that that gives you a little insight into what they're trying to build here, right? They're trying to get the Nico Collins type as the 1. They're trying to get the Tank Dell type as the 2, and then hopefully get good enough players at the 3, 4, 5 position to fill in where they need them. And they had Noah Brown and Robert Woods at the time, which did a pretty, good job of filling in.
That was a good offense.
Yeah. They were like top 10 in a bunch of different stuff. CJ Stroud had his best year. 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, five picks.
And then just forgot how to play football, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tutu Atwell, wild card for me, right? Like he is for you.
Yeah, so that leads us to Malik Washington, who, of course, has been with the Miami Dolphins for 2 seasons already. He was a 6th-round pick out of Virginia, stands at a whopping 5'8". 195 pounds, a giant amongst men.
But he plays like he's 5'9".
Plays like he's 5'9". Honestly, Josh and I have to apologize because we hyped this man up a ton last offseason. Really thought he was going to take the next step. Me more so than you, Josh, but I really just thought that, hey, he ended the 2023 season so hot. Or 2024 season so high. He was going to come into 2025 and he was going to fill in for injured Waddle and an injured Tyreek, who we just had a feeling we're going to get hurt. Spoiler alert, they both did.
Check.
And it just didn't happen. He was invisible out there. I mean, I don't know if it was a Tua thing or a Malik thing, but he did not take over the role in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I don't even know who the heck our leading receiver was last year. My guess is Jaylen Waddle.
Yeah, it was Waddle, I'm pretty sure.
He did play more than not. I have Malik as a wild card too, because I just don't know what there is there. I am am a huge fan of his, and I really want to see him succeed. But part of me feels like they're keeping him around as a kick returner and not as a wide receiver.
Well, he's really good at it.
Because Tutu Atwell is a better version of him at wide receiver.
I would argue that, but I could see. I mean, they're neck and neck, right?
I mean, statistically, he is.
Well, I don't give a shit about stats. I mean, stats lie all the time. You said it last show, right? And they
do lie all the time, but at least Atwell has 4 years under his belt.
Right. Well, you're talking about Atwell that play with a future Hall of Fame quarterback and a decent offensive line, one of the best coaches in the league.
Hey, Tua could be a future Hall of Fame quarterback. You don't know.
Yeah, I could win the lottery. I could do a lot of things.
You could win the lottery. You got to be in it to win it, right?
Right. And that's the thing. I'm not in it. So, I actually
We're not going to turn the show into a Tutu Atwell versus Malik Washington argument.
Well, apparently we are.
Hit rock bottom.
Yeah. Well, this is the dredges of the offseason, right? We got to find content. I actually differ from you for one specific reason for Malik Washington. I have him as a spark plug. I was back and forth with wild card, spark plug. And just as a quick recap, so you guys understand the difference, a spark plug, explosive or useful weapon who can change games, wild card, upside player with an unclear role. That is the key distinction because he was with Bobby Slowick. So I think if anyone understands how to use Malik, it is Bobby Slowick. And I think that is how he gets into the game plan because of the familiarity that Slowick has with Washington. He knows his skill sets. He knows what he's good at. He knows what he can't do. He's going to put him into situations, hopefully, where Washington can succeed, as long as the team around him succeeds, as well as we know that they can or don't. I mean, we don't know. And that's really the only reason why I went into the spark plug role for Malik as opposed to the wild card, but it is real close.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at voluntary minicamp, Malik is obviously way ahead of everybody else at this point.
Right.
He knows the system. He's making plays out there, but he's probably playing teacher a lot too because he's the only receiver coming back who played significant time. We do have some other receivers coming back, but they didn't really play a lot. All right, so we differ on Malik. There we go. We have a difference.
Hey, finally.
You have Malik as a spark plug. I have him as a wild card. I'm very interested to see how these top 3 play out because now we're diving into the rookie class before we get into some returning players who are kind of practice squad-esque players.
Yeah, and one more quick, before we jump to the rookie. The other thing that I want to mention about Malik Washington, I don't know how true it is because, media pumps out shit from Dolphins OTAs, try to hype the team up. But apparently he has had, and it was said by the coaches, Sullivan mentioned it on one of the press conferences, the media says it, like Dolphins media and shit. Him and Malik apparently have a really good connection. So maybe that plays, maybe it doesn't. Something to watch.
It'd be great if he can get off the line of scrimmage when he's being pressed. So,
therein lies the problem. Yeah.
Speaking of getting off the line of scrimmage when you're being pressed, maybe Caleb Douglas can do that. Maybe not. Our very big surprise pick at 75 overall, Caleb Douglas left a lot of analysts stunned on draft day. Or the Dolphins left a lot of analysts done, not Caleb Douglas. He didn't choose to be drafted here.
He was happy to, though.
A big, tall wide receiver out of Texas Tech. Many comp him to MVS. That's why the MVS conversation before ties into now. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Here's my problem with that, Josh, and we talked a little bit about this offline, is MVS was a 5th-round pick who averaged 500 yards a year and 2 to 3 touchdowns a season. I need Caleb Douglas to be better than that at pick 75. And I understand for those watching who were like, hey, man, not every draft pick is going to hit. We had 13 of them. I get it.
Sure.
But we don't have any receivers on this team. And Chris Bell has already been anointed the best receiver we drafted before we've even seen a play on the field. So what I need to see out of Caleb Douglas is coming in there and dominating every snap he takes and playing physical and playing to his size. Because when I watch his highlight reels, these are highlight reels, by the way. These are supposed to show his best performances. I see a guy who does not use his size as well as he should. He needs to be more physical with it. And that's my big concern there, is that 500 yards and 2 touchdowns a year for where he was drafted and the confidence that this staff has shown in him, I would not be satisfied with that. Like, great, he's a key piece. He's a wide receiver 3. Cool. But, like, I want to see more out of him. Right now I have him as a wild card. Spoiler alert, I'm going to have all the rookies as wild cards because we don't know anything about them really in terms of playing on an NFL field. But he's the guy I most long to be wrong about.
Same. I mean, there's not much I can add, right? I can't really add much to that. The rookie learning curve is going to be impactful to his impact, right? It's going to be trial by fire for him because of what we just talked about with the previous 3 guys. There's so much open real estate here for these rookies to come in and make a genuine impact. And it's not like it's hard to overthrow Tutu Atwell. I'm going to be honest with you. And I think what Caleb does offer, which is where I can understand the excitement, is his athletic prowess, his size. He's a 50-50 guy with a shitload of speed. What I will be very curious about is to see how does he handle press, like pro pressing, not college pressing, pro pressing, where they practice it. And you're going against 8, 9, 10-year veterans who have been honing this skill for, the majority of their life. And how quick does he kind of round out his route tree? Because his route tree right now is a tad limited. I do think he's talented. I do think he's coming in, and I think we're shitting on him a little bit because it's the Texas Tech wide receiver who we had at a certain, range in the draft, and who other people had at a certain range in the draft, who we drafted a round or 2 higher than we assumed that he would go. And I'll be the first to admit that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I'm not really sure about this pick. I don't really know, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he surprises us, right?
Maybe. It's also the 3rd round, so I guess expectations shouldn't be tremendously high. But the thing is, why my expectations are a little higher, and for all 3 of the guys that we're about to talk about, by the way, we're talking 3 rookies in a row here, is that tell me a team that would have been a better landing spot for any of them to have an opportunity to play right away.
Facts. Yeah.
None.
I mean, look.
So, like, I'm fully expecting one of these guys needs to beat out one of the 3 we just talked about. And if that happens, especially if it happens week 1, because I'm certainly not expecting it to happen week 1, but if it does, I feel like we got something.
Yeah. And look, to your point, I don't think I could have said it any better myself. This is a player that I so desperately want to be wrong on.
Yeah.
Like, and if I'm wrong, bro, I'll be happier than a pig in shit. I'll be on this podcast mocking me. I can't believe that we didn't think. I will be the first one to eat crow, and I'll put some sauce on it.
The thing that gets me hyped the most for him is how hyped these guys are for him.
Yeah.
Like John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley, when like the video came out of the room when they got that pick, it was like they just won the Super Bowl. Like the draft room, right? And then when they were talking about him in the press conference, I mean, it was just glowing. Like they just stole somebody from everybody else. They were like, I can't believe we got Caleb Douglas at 75. And it was the opposite of reaction of fans who were like, I can't believe we took Caleb.
Like, why would you take him at 75? Dude, he would have been there at 90.
Right. So yeah, I where do you have him in terms of the tiers?
Sorry, my camera's freaking out right now. I have Caleb Douglas, the wild card tier, just because, again, he's a rookie. We don't really know.
I talked a lot about Caleb Douglas. Mainly because I want you to talk about the next guy because you're a huge fan of his, and I don't know a lot about him really. So why don't we slide into Mr. Chris Bell out of Louisville?
Yeah, I was a bit careful.
Sorry, almost got eviscerated.
Almost eviscerated. Yeah, Chris Bell, man. Can you look up his measurables because I don't have them in front of me?
6'2", 220.
Yeah, I think Chris Bell, a healthy Chris Bell, would have been taken late 1, early 2. If I'm being completely honest. I think you go look back at his stats. He's on a Louisville team where. Louisville is how they say, or whatever, something close to that.
Louisville? Louisville or Louisville?
I don't know, whatever. You get it. The Cardinals or whatever their mascot is. Those guys. He never had over 1,000 yards. So you're like, well, why the hell would he have been drafted? Blah, blah. Because he wasn't on a good team. That team that wasn't that good. But Chris Bell was nationally known as one of the better wide receivers. 6 touchdowns last year, 4 touchdowns the previous year, 2 touchdowns the previous year before that, 12 total touchdowns for his career, just over 2,000 yards in college. But he is, I think he might be at the end of the year, and I'm probably dumping powder on this. I think he could be considered or end up in the steal of the draft conversation. That's how good I think he could be. Now, does he come back from injury? Because he only played in 11 games last year. I think it was his ACL, if I'm not mistaken, that he injured. He had surgery on it. He's already back running. He's not doing drills or anything, but he's doing like one-on-one stuff and sideline drills right now, or was in rookie minicamp and OTAs. But he's big and fast. And that's something that we don't. We have big and we have big and fast, but we don't have big, fast, and when I say big, I don't mean tall necessarily. I mean big. I mean, he's over 200 pounds, right? He's 6'2". He's the same height as Caleb Douglas, but he's got like, 20 pounds on him, give or take?
It says 10, but I would bet 20.
Yeah, call it 15 right down the middle, right? Mm-hmm. And he's just as fast as him, which kind of leans into his ability to go up and get those 50-50s, to initiate contact, to accept contact, and still maintain through that contact the catching of the ball. And his hands are amazing. My only curiosity is, given everything that he can do on the field, how does he come back from injury? And how does that look, right? Does he come back himself? Does he come back a shell of himself? So,
yeah, I'm the most excited for him too, mainly because you and Taylor talking about him. But then you look at his game log and you see the game against Miami.
Oh, right? Dude, it's fire.
Like the best defense in the nation. What did they have? 4 guys in the top 12 taken?
Yeah.
Something like that. He goes off for 9 for 136 and 2 touchdowns. They beat Miami in that game. And that was part of 3 games in a row where he went off. 10 for 135 at Pittsburgh, 12 for 170 versus Virginia, and then 9 for 136 against Miami. The bulk of his season totals were in those 3 games. In fact, 5 of his 6 touchdowns are in those 3 games. And I've learned over the years of doing this and watching football that in college, you're not going to get the seasons you get in the NFL where you look at a wide receiver and you're looking for 17 consistent games. Like in college, you're probably going to get maybe half the season of consistency.
Sure.
If that. So now I'm looking at Chris Bell and I'm like, man, those 3 games just last year alone really stand out to me. And he's got a few games sprinkled in beyond last year as well, where I'm just like, this guy can eat.
Yeah. Well, and he doesn't do it by these aren't broken coverage 70-yard bombs. You know what I mean? These are, he's taking it on a 5-10-yard slant, running through 2 people, stiff arming another, bouncing off a 4th, spinning off a 5th, and running 50 yards for a touchdown. Like that's what Chris Bell can bring. And I'm salivating at it. I mean, like you said, Taylor and I, we're so excited for this player to see what he can do. And it's just a matter of how he comes back from injury,
I'm excited for him. I have him currently as a wild card. I think he is the closest in the wide receiver group for me personally to Sparkplug. Like you said, a lot will depend on how he comes back from injury, how he, personally, I would rather them take it slow than take it fast. We believe this is going to be a lost season anyways. We don't know for a fact, but you can look at the roster and kind of make assumptions. We believe, we believe this will be a 3 to 6 win team this year. So don't rush it. Right.
Right. Exactly. And if you're not 1000% sure that he is 100% healthy and can come back, and you never can know if there won't be any set, but if everyone is saying he's good and the x-rays and the tests and the blah, 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 and all this other medical crap says that he's good to play, cool, play him because he needs the experience. What I don't want to see, to your point, is us say, holy shit, our wide receivers are ass garbage. Chris Bell, throw on your helmet, figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, maybe not the best move, because you
Go out there on crutches. You got this.
Throw on a brace, you're fine, right? Because that could be and I don't think and I wouldn't have said this last year with the coaching staff and the regime, but this coaching staff seems to understand that this is a process. These are their guys. This is their first draft coming in and trying to reset. I feel like we finally have adults in the room across a lot of the categories: head coach, GM, assistant coaches, everything. So I will put my faith in them to know and to make the right decisions on players like this, because Chris Bell could be, for those of you that are watching, don't jump down my throat, could be one of those 5 to 10 year type players for Miami.
Let's take a look at the third wide receiver we drafted in this draft. Very clear that John Eric Sullivan believes we have a wide receiver deficit as well. 5th round pick Kevin Coleman Jr. comes to us out of Mizzou. Honestly, he played for 3 or 4 different schools in 4 years, including Louisville with Chris Bell in 2023. Started at Jackson State, went to Louisville, went to Mississippi State, ended at Mizzou. His best year was 2024 at Mississippi State, where he caught 74 passes for 932 yards and 6 touchdowns. He, in my opinion, is of the stature and athleticism of Malik Washington and Tutu Atwell. I could see a competition between the 3 of them fighting for that slot position and kick returner at that. Given he's a 5th round pick, though, probably special teams is where he's going to have to make this team.
Agreed. I think he is probably day 1 kick returner for, if we have 2 kick returners like most teams do, he's probably a day 1 kick returner if I had to guess. I'm not sure how much he provides year 1 in the receiving room. I don't. I think he needs to prove he can win as a true wide receiver. He's a smaller guy. Struggled in college with heavier press sets and longer, leaner, kind of those big body cornerbacks, which is pretty much what you're going to face on a daily basis. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. I hope he makes the team, because I think he could be a little bit more than a gadget wide receiver. But I think year 1 that's pretty much what he's going to be. I have him as a wild card. Shocker.
If he plays on offense, probably scheme him open sort of thing, just so he doesn't have to worry so much about getting pressed at the line. We're probably still going to have a motion heavy offense, not nearly as heavy as Mike McDaniel's monstrosity he was deploying.
So bad, dude.
But the 49ers offense that Bobby Slowick comes from does make usage of motions and lining people up in favorable positions against the defense. So I could see Coleman later in the year maybe making an impact there once 1, 2, or all 3 of the starting safety or wide receivers get hurt. Safeties.
Yeah. I mean, let me ask you a question. So we have 3 rookie wide receivers, right? And Caleb Douglas, Chris Bell, Coleman Jr. If you had to put a number on how many of them start a single, a game, do you think all 3 of them start a game at some point this year? Do you think only 2 of them potentially? Do you think none of them start a game this year? Irregardless, I mean, it's hard to anticipate injuries. So just off the riff.
As a receiver or in general?
As a receiver, not as a special kick returner.
Hard to say with Chris Bell's injury. If Chris Bell comes back this year, I think he and Douglas both get a start.
So do I. That's exactly where I was at. Yeah. I think Douglas starts a lot sooner than we all think he might.
Probably. I think Coleman has his fans out there too, who would argue that he should start over Malik, or should start over Tutu. It's going to be hard. Wide receiver position's hard to start right away as a 5th round receiver. But don't tell Puka that.
Yeah, fair statement. So what I heard is you're comparing Kevin Coleman Jr. to Puka Nacua. Is that what I heard?
No. I'm saying Kevin Coleman is Puka Nacua.
Gotcha. Just different jersey. Cool.
Right. Exactly.
Heist of the century, if that's the case.
Kevin Coleman Jr. probably fighting for a roster spot. Let's get into the guys that he's fighting with for that potentially fifth and final spot. Although if Chris Bell starts the year on IR, then we will. I believe we keep 6 receivers, so we'll have 2 open spots to fill. Whether or not any of these guys fill those spots, well, that remains to be seen. So let's dive into the first one. Terrace Marshall Jr. is former second-round pick for the Carolina Panthers, has kind of bounced around the league for a little bit. We signed him really, really, really early on before the offseason even started because he was in the free agent pool already. He didn't have a team last year.
He's big.
I think this is a why the hell not kind of signing, but I mean, if he hasn't stuck anywhere else, I just don't see it happening. I think it's nice of them to give the guy an opportunity.
Sure.
But he is definitely on the bubble watch for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree. I think Marshall is hey, is there anything there to salvage?
Is this guy alive? Poke him with a stick.
Anything? Yeah, poke him with a stick. See what happens. Spray him with a water bottle. Because to your point, I mean, if he hasn't done anything yet, how long has he been in the league?
This is year number 5. He played his first 3 years with Carolina. He had a cup of coffee with Vegas in 2024. He did not play football last year in 2025, so he's coming with a year off too. Oh God, yeah. Yeah,
it's one of those things where you can give him a pass for the Carolina years because that was a fucking disorganized, dysfunctional franchise. Vegas wasn't any better. Probably his best team was his couch last year that he's played for. And so, sure, let's see if there's any shine left on the rust bucket. And, if you look at it that way, he's a bubble guy. Let's just call a spade a spade.
6'2", 200 pounds out of LSU. I get it. I totally get that. That's the type of guy you want to throw a dart at.
And most of the time, first and second round players get chance after chance, at least. A couple until the league starts realizing, hey, you know what? This is a 7th team in 2 years. Maybe he's not so good. You know what I mean?
It's always sad when you go look at the guys who've fallen off, like the list of players that are well known who just don't have, like, they're forcefully retired now, and it's always so like shocking that the NFL lifespan is very, very.
Well, you watch some of Marshall's fucking LSU tape. You understood why he got taken in the second round.
Yeah,
but again, look at the team around him. Right.
Next up on the list is a UDFA by the name of Donovan McCulley out of Michigan. Many of you may know him better from Indiana because he played his first 3 seasons there. 6'5", 215 pounds. He does have quite a few receiving stats. He started his career as a quarterback way back in 2021. He converted to wide receiver in 2022. And in Michigan last year, he put up 588 yards and 3 touchdowns. His best season in Indiana, he had 644 yards and 6 touchdowns. Very much a project player, but the size alone is where the intrigue is.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the tallest wide receiver on our team right now.
I would say
guess.
So. Yeah, Theo Weiss might be around there too.
Yeah, true. Yeah, this is bubble guy again, right? I mean, I think all of these guys, if I had to guess, were
Theo Weiss is only 6'2". What do I know?
Yeah, but you can understand the curiosity about him. Again, he's an undrafted guy, so didn't cost you much. Yeah. Let's see what he has, right? Could he be a red zone 50-50 guy, a red zone threat, which at standing at 6'5" as a wide receiver and can move the way he can move? Sure, why not? I just the one thing for him from a skill set standpoint is I need to see separation, because if you can't get separation in the league, you're not going to be a successful wide receiver. And I'm not sure he can do it.
Yeah. I should have bundled all 4 of these guys together, but let's just bundle the next 3 together. AJ Henning out of Northwestern. Taj Washington comes to us. This is his 2nd year with us. This is actually Henning's 2nd year with us too.
Yep.
What's that?
I said I was agreeing with you. Sorry.
Yeah. Round 7 pick for Taj Washington out of USC. And then Theo Weiss Jr. also in his 2nd year with us. He's out of Missouri.
Mhm.
So AJ Henning at 5'10", 192 hasn't played any snaps for us yet in a regular season game. Theo Weiss Jr., 6'2", 210 pounds, played 3 games for us last year. He had 10 targets. He caught 6 of them for 139 yards and a touchdown, including a 63-yard bomb for a touchdown, which had fans and not fans of the show shitting all over me because I had said, who gives a shit about Theo Weiss Jr.? And then the next game he did that. So good on you. Taj Washington, of course, is my favorite of the group here. He played in 6 games, only had 3 catches for 37 yards, and the obvious killer to him was that his first touch in the league on a regular season game, he fumbled the ball, and then he didn't play again until the end of the year.
Yeah, wasn't that like we were backed up into our red zone?
We were.
Yeah, and it was like a dump off, and we were like, bro, he looked like Tyreek Hill. And
it was impressive. It was against Baltimore on Thursday night. We ended up losing that game 28-6, by the way.
He juked somebody out of their soul and then immediately fumbled the ball, and you're like, well, come on.
An 11-yard play on a -1 yard catch.
Yeah.
So 12 yards total, but they don't count that negative yard as being a yard. So,
right.
Yeah. So Taj to me, we've always joked that Taj is like Tyreek light. Like he's not nearly as talented as Tyreek Hill, but he has very similar movements, a very similar stature. Just his play style. I wouldn't be surprised if he said his play style was based on Tyreek Hill because he plays very similarly to him.
Yeah.
Theo Weiss Jr. has size, speed, good red zone targetability. Just he got more opportunity than most do in his position last year, and he outside of the 63-yard catch, he wasn't really able to do much with it. And then AJ Henning has yet to see the field. So I have all 3 on bubble watch. Do you anticipate any of these 3 actually making it to the final cuts or the final roster?
Taj would be honestly the only one. I would have, if we didn't have Chris Bell and Caleb Douglas and not Tutu, Jalen Tolbert, who gives us size. I would say one of the other ones because of their size.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I don't think any of them make it. But if I had to guess, I would say Taj probably gets on the team on special teams, right? Just because he's fast and twitchy.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if any of them make the practice squad. I think you get 2 years of practice squad eligibility or something like that.
Yep, before you have to shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have 11 wide receivers on this team. So I think plus some that we're probably forgetting so that we don't really care about.
Some that we just don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. How many do you think of the 11 that we talked about today? So Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, Malik Washington, Caleb Douglas, Chris Bell, Kevin Coleman Jr., Terrence Marshall Jr., Donovan McCulley, AJ Henning, Taj Washington, Theo Weiss Jr. How many do you think make the team? Not for practice squad. I just mean the team.
I think we will keep 5 or 6 receivers. I don't think we will keep 5 or 6 of these receivers.
Okay, so then who do you think we keep? If you had to, not to put you on the spot, we'll do a whole show on 53 rosters and stuff, but just for fun.
Tolbert, Atwell, Malik, Caleb Douglas, Chris Bell are locks for me. Kevin Coleman is a bubble. Marshall, McCulley, Henning, Washington, Weiss are all out. Maybe practice squad, maybe somewhere else. Don't know.
I could see it.
McCulley is a good story. I imagine he'll be on the practice squad to see if he can continue to develop. Kevin Coleman's really the biggest wild card there for me.
Yeah.
And if he does make the team, that still only puts us at 5 because we're assuming Chris Bell's probably going to start the year on IR.
Yeah.
So I think this is one of the first positions we dip into the everybody else's cuts free agency. So I would look for a signing there.
How many did you say? 7 on the roster? 6 on the roster?
I think we keep 5 or 6.
Okay, so so like the 5th and 6th wide receiver aren't on the roster yet. It's kind of vibe.
I think the 5th and 6th wide receiver are potentially Bell and Coleman. But if Coleman doesn't make it, and Bell is on IR, that leaves us with only 4?
Gotcha. Yeah, 4. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
How about you?
I agree. I think we carry 6 if I had to guess. And I actually think Bell's probably on unable to perform list. So that puts him out for the first 4 weeks, I think, of the season. I forgot the math. So that would leave Tolbert, Atwell, Tutu, Malik, Caleb Douglas, and Kevin Coleman Jr. Not as a wide receiver, but as a specialist, as a returner. And then, we probably snag one or two off of other teams, like you said, that are getting cut, because there's going to be it's a crazy number. When all teams cut down to 53, it's like 1,200 players are cut loose in a 24-hour period or something like that. It's insane.
So it's 37 players each team, 32 teams, 1,184 players. Yeah, so around 1,200 players
lose their jobs.
Lose their jobs.
Like 24 hours. That's insane. So there will be players available, and some of them are going to be vets. And don't forget, there are still vets that are on the market that are unsigned. I mean, you have Debo that doesn't have a team. You have Tyreek Hill that doesn't have a team. You have, Jawan Jennings, I think, just signed with the Vikings not too long ago.
Vikings, yeah.
So, there's a few good veterans that are out there that I don't know if you want to bring Tyreek Hill back or if you want to bring Debo in, but you get my point, right? I'm not vouching for them. I'm just saying, there are options available.
Absolutely. And that part of the season is so crazy. It's just so many people losing their jobs and making new jobs and moving their whole families across the country. And it's just like, when you actually sit and think about the human aspect of that time of the year, it's got to be the most stressful. Think about if you and your wife had to just get up and leave Connecticut because you just got traded from your job in Connecticut to a job in New Mexico. And you're like, well, fuck, that's a culture change.
Well, my wife would be staying in Connecticut between you and I, but yeah, we'd be pen pals.
But let's say let's just hypothetically think about if your whole life you've wanted to be in the NFL, you do it, right? Because that's your dream. That's all you know. That's crazy. All right, let's move into the tight end room before people get bored of us talking about this shit set of wide receivers. And let's talk about the one tight end that we have. Let me just read through the tight ends first, and then we'll talk about them. There's 4 on this list. Let me look at our lads real quick. You forgot our rookie again. We forgot our rookie. That's 2 shows in a row. We forgot the second rookie.
We have Kacmarek.
Yeah, and Seydou Traore.
Oh, well. Okay. Go team.
Who I like way better than you, obviously. You forgot to even put him on the show notes. But let's talk. So we have Greg Dulcich, we have rookie Will Kacmarek, we have rookie Seydou Traore, we have Ben Sims, and we have Cole Turner. Those are the 5 tight ends currently on the roster. Still sad we didn't sign Jonnu. Jonnu ends up in the Giants, I think.
Yes.
He just got signed. I don't know where.
Yep.
Let's talk Greg Dulcich, guy we liked last year, guy we were pounding the table to play.
Kept him on the practice squad for 4 weeks.
On the practice squad forever last year. I don't even remember who was starting. Was it Darren Waller? Whatever. Waller had 3 good plays, and then Dulcich was just sitting there. We're like, hey, can we bring in
what are you doing?
Dulcich? Why are we playing whoever the hell Julian Hill so much? Right? Yeah. Finally get him out there. He gets to play. He does really well. He gets another contract from the new regime. Is he the no questions asked starter now?
My opinion, yeah. It's not even close. Not with what's on the roster. And I'm a huge fan of Dulcich. If I'm being completely honest, my take on him might very well be my love of Greg Dulcich, because I think he is so underrated as a tight end. I think he is a very good receiving tight end. He can stretch. He's got speed. He's got hands. He can get up and get 50-50 balls. He can take contacts, keep the catch throughout the contact. But he's also a underappreciated blocker. He's not phenomenal at it. He's more of a receiving tight end than he is a blocking tight end, but he can still block relatively well. And, there was a play last year, I forgot what game it was, where, he housed a 20 or 30 yard touchdown and bounced off of a bunch of people to do so.
Yeah.
He was good in Denver and just kept getting shit on for no reason.
Yeah. He's injured his second and third year, and how fans are.
Yep. Kind of out of sight, out of mind, right? It's what have you done for me lately? And he's still young. I think he's 26,
March
26,
26, 2000. So yeah.
Yeah. So, I think he's immediately the best receiving tight end we have on the roster. And we know that Bobby Slowick's offense likes to use tight ends. We just talked about it earlier. Uh, Dalton, what's his name? Schultz.
Yep.
Was the number 3 wide receiver that year in 2023 when he was in Houston.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting a big year from Dulcich, not 1,000+ yard type year. But if I don't think it's crazy to say Dulcich ends the year with 650, 700 yards, maybe 5 touchdowns, right? 4 or 5 touchdowns. Like, I think that's a stellar year for somebody in this position on a team that's rebuilding.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I think I put his ceiling at 650 yards for the year, and he's not going to give us Jonnu numbers. Jonnu's just way more athletic than he is, and I do think, though, we were big fans of him for a reason. Just a big-bodied, physical tight end, which is just something our offense was missing for many, many years, like the physicality. So, like, now that our offense doesn't need that as much anymore with the new regime who are bringing in more physical players, but it still will be nice. My biggest concern with Dulcich is of course, the injury concern. He missed nearly his entire sophomore and junior years in the NFL due to injury, and that's why the Broncos cut him. He ends up on a Giants practice squad. He ends up on our practice squad, and then finally cracks the lineup and has a near career year, 26 catches for 335 yards. He put in 10 games, he only played 10 games his rookie year. He had 33 for 411. So pretty similar.
Right on par. Yeah. And if you extrapolate that, you can see where we got to that 600 number, right?
My fear is injury, though, because we don't have receiving tight ends behind him outside of this kid, Seydou Traore, who we drafted as a developmental prospect at Mississippi State. Like, Will Kacmarek can catch the ball, but that's
yes, and we're going to talk about that in a second.
Not his bread and butter. Ben Sims, same thing. Ben Sims has had some highlight moments playing for the Packers and the Vikings, but not really his bread and butter. And then we have Cole Turner, who, similar to Traore, is just a developmental guy, right? So like, my biggest concern here, and I agree. I don't know if I think you said you had Dulcich as a spark plug.
I did.
Yeah. So I agree. I also have him with that status, but I think he's on the lower end for me. He's closer to the next tier, the wild card tier, than the next tier up, which would be the engine tier, just because the injuries do really scare me, because we don't have enough behind him to recover for that,
Yeah, I can see it. He's sure-handedly the spark plug tier for me, but I can definitely, the injuries scare me too. That's the crutch. That's the crux of most of these players, that we're like, hey, they're talented, but right? And that's why go ahead.
That's the one position I was kind of hoping we would bring in more. Like,
and we still might. Don't forget, we
might. But, like, there was a lot of good free agent tight ends out there who didn't really sign big contracts, and it's like, man, it would have been nice to grab one of those guys.
Yeah, the re-signing of Dulcich was something, like you said, we both were banging the table for. This screamed to me, Bobby Slowick coming in as a now offensive coordinator needed some comfortability, right? And he knows Greg Dulcich. Greg Dulcich was here last year. He's very familiar with him.
Yeah.
That's what this screamed to me. Now, I agree with it. I'm a Dulcich fan. I already admitted that. So I'm probably not the one to have an honest conversation about, hey, what happens if this man doesn't pan out? Because I think he's going to stay healthy, and I think he's gonna have a career year for him.
Yeah.
Let's move to the next one, though, because I think there's a part of him that I would really like to chat back and forth with you about.
Sure. So let's go to Will Kacmarek. He was drafted in the 3rd round, which was a surprise to everybody. But if you were watching the NFL draft, you know that the Jaguars started a run on tight ends in the 3rd round because they wanted to get ahead of the run.
Okay.
That they started. Okay. But yeah, so we end up, I believe, probably drafting Kacmarek higher than they wanted to. But when they saw all these tight ends going off the board, I think Sullivan was like, well, I'm getting my guy. Like, I'm not taking a chance. He comes into the NFL as one of the best blockers to come in at the tight end position, second only to one of the other guys in this draft class, actually, who the Jaguars took, who started the freaking run, taking a blocking tight end. And I truly believe, Josh, and I know you probably have a little different because you were anxious to get to him, so I think you're going to have a bit of a differing opinion here. I think he is our blocking tight end and our fullback. I think he mostly plays a blocking role. I don't see him being heavily involved in the receiving game. Although I know that early on in his career, he did have okay receiving numbers at Ohio before he went to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I think he likes it in Ohio.
Yeah, no, agreed. And my take on him doesn't differ than what you said. He is coming out of college. I said this on the live show when we drafted the show after we were doing the draft recap. He's coming in with elite blocking.
Yeah.
As a rookie. I think to your point, he's our blocking tight end in heavy sets. He's basically another lineman because he's big, he's strong, he's nasty, play fullback position. The only thing I wanted to make sure that I touched on when it came to Will Kacmarek is that he is. I've gone back and I didn't feel like this when we drafted him. I had to go back and watch a lot of film. He is an underrated receiving tight end. He had he didn't put up crazy numbers because he wasn't asked to. He was asked to block because that's what he's fucking amazing at.
Yeah.
But you leak him out, he can make those 5 to 10 yard receptions consistently. And so I can see where, I could see a world in which we play, again, assuming everyone's healthy, assuming Will Kacmarek makes the team even, and we don't know. But I could see a world in which he and Dulcich are on the field together in 2 heavy tight end sets, and they cross, and Will Kacmarek busts one for 15, 20 yards. And we're like, oh shit, and he makes it look easy.
Yeah. I really would I would love to see us use him similar to how the Chiefs use their tight end 2 every year.
Yes.
The Chiefs tight end 2 is the best position in the world because they know he's going to be wide open at least 3 plays a game.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Mahomes is smart enough to know when it's going to happen. And he just hits them every time. He's like, well, why not take the wide open guy, right?
Exactly.
That's what I'm kind of hoping for Kacmarek there.
And the other good thing about Kacmarek is I think he's really, really going to help improve the run game consistency too. Yeah.
He's our Swiss Army knife on offense, similar to how I think Kyle Lewis is going to be our Swiss Army knife on defense.
Exactly. That's a apt comparison. Not from a talent level, but from a usage standpoint.
Let's talk. Let's actually talk Seydou Traore next, and we'll get to Ben Sims. So Traore was drafted at the 180th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, round 5 to the Miami Dolphins. He was the first ever International Pathways Program player drafted. Congratulations to him. The man has the size and the upside to be a legitimately good tight end. Mm-hmm. It's whether or not he continues to develop into one who can do so at the NFL level. His college numbers are nothing huge. His sophomore year at Arkansas State was fantastic, 655 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he never reproduced that once he moved on to Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. Still, 180th pick overall to get a tight end who's 6'4", 235 pounds, and I think he ran like a low 4s. Is it 4.3s, 4.4s? It
wasn't 4.3. It was low 4.4s, I think.
He ran. I'll look up his numbers here in a second. But to me, this is the type of pick I love in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Just guys that are athletically superior, who maybe don't have the numbers, but you're confident enough in your staff to be like, turn this guy into the next enter name here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's possible. I'm trying to look up his combine numbers. 40-yard dash, 4.59.
Okay.
Yeah, but his 10-yard split was 1.65, which is bananas. So yeah, he's got twitch, he's got speed. 6'3", 244, big ass arms, wingspan crazy, almost 81 inches, which is insane. Yeah. I don't think he makes. I mean, I think it's safe to say that he doesn't do much. I mean, Here's another one. I hope I'm wrong because it would be such a cool story. But I don't think he does much in year one. I think if he's out of England, I think if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
Soccer player growing up, super athletic, genuinely an athletic person, right?
Yeah.
To play the tight end position and can catch, like you said. I just am curious. That jump is serious, and we take it for granted with some players because they make it look easy. We've said it. I've said it on the show. I don't want to speak for you. I think tight end is one of the hardest positions to transition from college to the pros because you're asked to do everything. You have to catch, you have to block, you have to understand how to read defenses. You have to, understand how to block defensive ends versus rushing linebackers versus blitzing safeties versus rushing cornerbacks. You have to do it all. And if you're not good at one thing, the whole play blows up. And so I think it's such a steep learning curve that I doubt he does anything in year one. I hope I'm wrong. I already said that. Don't jump down my throat. However, I will be really surprised to see if he does anything in year two.
Yeah, year two is what I'm looking at as well. I think he ends up on a practice squad, hoping that there's a few teams out there that just treat the practice squad like their own personal, I'm going to go pick up everybody else's high upside guys because we suck at taking high upside guys. And
go look at the Chris Gray era.
I hope he doesn't get snagged in that way. That'll be a little disappointing because I do want to see what he turns into. But yeah, I agree. Probably practice squad right off the bat. I still think that I have him a little above Bubble Watts because I'm excited for him. I have him in the Prove It crew.
Yeah, and I will admit this too. Don't forget, not for you, but for those listening, this is a full teardown rebuild. We have the most historical dead cap ever. 62% of our cap space is we're paying players that aren't on the team anymore. So I think, there's a chance he could not be a practice squad player because we need bodies. We need butts and seats that don't cost a lot of money. Right? and let's just call a spade. And also, like we said about some of the wide receivers, like we said about some of the running backs, like we said about, some of the later quarterbacks when we were having that conversation. This franchise's first draft, Traore was taken. He was selected by this team, which I think goes a lot further than some of us assume, me included. So there's a chance that he's not a practice squad stash and dump, that he actually makes the roster. You know what I mean? Or he starts on the practice squad, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets bumped up to the active 53 kind of mid-season, for example, if he's still on the practice squad. So, that's a cool story to watch and to see what happens.
Yeah, the greatest part about that pick is it fits exactly what Sully's been talking about the whole time. Size, speed, traits. I mean,
there you go.
That doesn't have the production. They prefer production, but in the fifth round, nobody has production.
Right? The fifth round lottery for the reason, right?
Yeah. Speaking of lack
do
of
we
production,
really need to even talk about these next two?
Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, Ben Sims is actually, I think, going to make an impact. So I do want to talk about him.
Sure.
I do think he is our locked-in tight end 3 or potentially 2 if he can beat out Kacmarek. I need to learn how to say his name before the season.
You said it right. That's perfect.
So I think Ben Sims and Will Kacmarek are definitely in a battle for the blocking tight end position. I know that probably seems outlandish to anybody who hasn't heard of Ben Sims, myself included. I had to go look up who the hell he was and what he's been doing. Big time blocking tight end for the Packers. He is definitely a developmental guy. He hasn't had a ton of snaps, but in Minnesota last year, I definitely feel like he started to come into his own. He only played 8 games. 6 catches, 30 yards, whatever. There's no blocking stats on here, but I remember watching when we signed him some highlight videos and some coverage videos of him, and he was definitely a blocking tight end out there in Minnesota for their incredible running game that they deployed. And I think that he intends to come in here with the intention of competing for that blocking tight end position. So I do think there's a competition between him and Will. All the hype's going to go towards Will because he's a rookie, and us fans love rookies. But I'm interested to see what Ben can do. He's huge, too, by the way. 6'5", 250.
Yeah, 6'5", 250 out of Baylor. Massive human being. And, yeah, it is a competition between him, and you would then have to assume you lean towards NFL experience over none. right? So Sims with the NFL experience, he was drafted in 2003 by the Packers, was there for 3 years, and then spent last year split between the Packers and the Vikings.
Yep.
Or do you lean towards the high upside player that was drafted in their first regime? I mean, so it's going to be, look, training camp is going to have a lot of fun battles, specifically in the wide receiver and the on the offensive side between the wide receiver room and the tight end room. So this is one that I'm definitely curious to see, because maybe I'm wrong. You don't think they carry 2 blocking tight ends, right? I mean, you think it's down, but these 2 are down, and whoever loses is out, right?
No, I think they're going to carry 3 tight ends.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I think they're, yeah.
So you think,
unless Traore stays and Sims goes.
Yeah.
I don't think Cole Turner's going to make it, who we'll talk about here in a second, very, very briefly. But
yeah, no. Okay.
The thing I think Ben Sims has going for him, he was one of the first signings of the Sully era.
Mm-hmm.
Sully knows him from Green Bay, and you may want to believe that they are not human and that their robotic brains say it doesn't matter that we have the Green Bay connection. It's just going to be all competition. It's going to be how well they play on the field. But that's bullshit. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely this part of Sully's brain that has a sweet spot for Ben Sims, and a part of Hafley's brain that has a sweet spot for Ben Sims, and a reason he was one of the first picks that they made in free agency. And I think that Sims has that recognition going for him in terms of the battle for a roster spot.
Yeah, and the other point, and very minimal given, I'm sure, I don't know what we signed Sims for, but I can't imagine it's for a lot of money.
Probably not a lot, yeah.
Right. The other thing is finances.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're
$1.3 million.
Like, I know we just got an influx with the Bradley Chubb, offload post June 1st. So we have $21 million right now to play around with. We need to sign our rookie draft class. But, if it is between Sims and Kacmarek, you have Kacmarek, who was drafted. You are going to sign him. You have control over a cost-controlled piece for 3 or 4 years. I can't remember what it is when you're drafted in the round that he was drafted in. Or you have Ben Sims, that's $1 million+ on a 1-year contract, right? So it's...
Yeah. I think every round is 4 years except for the first round that has a 5th-year option.
Okay, so... Yeah. Cost-controlled player does the same thing as Sims. Yeah. So again, these are all narratives. So I'm like super excited to see how this pans out, because I could certainly see us carrying all of them, like as far as the 3 that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But I could also see them saying, well, okay, if Dulcich goes down, then now we don't have a receiving tight end. You know what I mean? Yeah. We have 2 blocking tight ends. So if they're only going to carry 3, do you take the kind of cover up in case Dulcich goes down with another receiving tight end, like a Traore, like somebody from another practice squad, or like somebody that gets cut that's a receiving tight end? Or do you hope that Dulcich stays healthy, and then you have 2 blocking tight ends to back each other up? So it'll be
think about too that the 3 tight end set, 31 personnel, has been popularized by
a comeback,
I believe, the Rams. And so I think teams are going to start keeping 3 or 4 tight ends in order to deploy that more often.
Agreed. And don't forget, there's also trades. I know it's crazy to say, but I mean, we have a couple players that we'll talk about on another show coming up here in a few weeks, but there's a couple of players that I could honestly make an argument that they could be traded. A couple of vets that are on this team. So
last but not least, Cole Turner. He was drafted by Washington, played 2 years for Washington. I don't know if he's been out of the league or just been on practice squads the past 2 years, but he has no stats for the past 2 years, 2024 or 2025 season. I think it's a very, very big long shot that he would make this team. But he has the size and traits that Sully looks for, 6'6", 240 pounds. So that's the reason he is in camp.
Sheesh, 6'6". Yeah, he's a practice squad guy if I've never seen one before.
Yeah.
If I had to put my money on it.
So how many tight ends do you see us keeping, and who do you see us keeping? I mean, we only have 5.
Yeah, I see us keeping 3. I think that's a very solid number. I definitely see us keeping Dulcich and Kacmarek.
Yep.
I think the 3rd tight end, sadly, is not on the roster today. And I think Traore is one of those international practice squad roster spots where doesn't count towards I think it doesn't count towards the practice squad numbers because you can only have a certain amount of them, but you can also have a international slot available if you have one of those players that qualifies, which he does. So we'll see. What about you?
If I remember correctly, international practice squad players can't be picked up by other teams.
That sounds about right. Because we had one guy, offensive lineman out of Brazil for I feel like 5 years.
Correct. So international players signed to the designated practice squad international spot cannot be signed to another team's active roster during that season unless they are waived.
Okay, well, there you go. So he's safe.
They can be in that position for up to 3 years, by the way.
Yeah, so then I definitely don't think, unless Traore blows it out of the water, I think he redshirts.
I'm excited to watch him in the preseason.
Me too. Me too, dude. Me too. I'm excited to see a lot of these guys in the preseason.
Yeah. I think we're keeping Dulcich, Kacmarek, and Sims. I think that Traore will end up in the, I think they call it the IPP spot, International Pathway Program spot on the practice squad, which is a good place to put him. If he doesn't ball out, if he balls out, give him a roster spot.
Hell yeah.
You're going to keep Ben Sims over him for what?
What a cool story that would be, dude.
Right?
If he just tears up the preseason, 100 yards and a touchdown in one game, that would be amazing.
I do agree with you that this is another position where potentially a trade or a free agency addition can happen. Surprisingly, Njoku signed for less than Dulcich. I'm surprised by that.
I'm not, because fucking talk about injury.
Yeah.
But
he's such a good player when he's on the field.
He's phenomenal. But the problem is he plays 3 games a year, right? So
that's true.
The other thing I'll say this, and I think it kind of went without saying, is that for both of these specific rooms, wide receiver and the tight end, whoever is the 5th or 6th wide receiver or the third or 4th tight end, don't unpack your bags.
Right. Yeah.
Don't unpack your bags. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even when you make the initial 53, don't unpack yet. Hang tight until week 2.
These are 2 positions that are wide open, let me tell you. I know Greg Dulcich seems to have a lock on the starting position this year, but that position moving forward appears to be wide open. The wide receiver room is nothing but open at this point. So let us know in the comments below who you have as your starters. Give us your order too. Who's your 1, 2, 3 receiver? Do you agree that they're going to go chalk and it's going to be Tolbert, Tutu, and Malik, or do you think Caleb Douglas is about to show the league what's up?
Or Chris Bell.
Chris Bell, maybe, Chris Bell too. Let us know in the comments below. How many do you see as keeping? What are their tiers? The engine is the core players. The spark plug is explosive weapons who can change games. Wild cards, upside players with an unclear role. The prove it crew, they have talent, but they need to earn their trust and a roster spot. And then the bubble watches, guys who are just kind of training camp fodder.
Exactly what that is. Bubble watch. Butts in the
bubble
seats.
Watch. By the way, we're at 204 subscribers at the time of recording. Hopefully way more by the time you see this episode. Our goal is 250 by August 11th. You can help us just by hitting that little subscribe button below the video if you enjoyed it. If you've made it all the way to this point of the video, I must say you enjoyed it. Hit the damn subscribe button. What are you doing?
Please. Please.
Absolutely. The like button helps us too, but we love seeing subscriptions. We love seeing that little number go up.
Oh, let me tell you something. I feed on it. Yes.
We love seeing your comments too. We do react to every single comment. It may be a couple weeks until we do, but trust me, we get to every single one eventually. Love having conversations down there in the comments as well. We'll be going live I think it's the end of July. I think we set it up as we get ready for the preseason and for the regular season, which are coming way faster than you even think they are.
Right around the corner.
It's exciting. We also have more player spotlights coming, so stay tuned for the offensive line and defensive line in the coming weeks, as well as every other position on the roster except for special teams because nobody cares. So for Josh, a.k.a. Aqua Ace, over here to my left, I'm Anthony Pinzone. Thank you so much for watching. This has been another episode of the 305 Gridiron. Until next time, fins up, baby.